and today I'm going to be talking about promotional merchandise. So, I guess to get started, what is promotional merch? Actually, no, to get started, why is he wearing a hat indoors, I hear you ask? Well, Codebreak, Codebreak, COVID hair, kind of lockdown hair, need to hide it, so yeah, you'll have to deal with that one. So, promotional merchandise. It looks like the screen's black. I hope you can all see me. I don't think you can. That's good. Can you hear me? I'll keep going and see what's happening. Facebook having a lot of fun at the moment, as you may or may not know. So, promotional merchandise. What is it? So, anything that you give away, really, anything that stays in the customer's hands, that kind of thing. So, that might be clothes, that could be mouse mats, could be coasters, could be pens. Pens are a popular one, could be duffel bags, anything like that. So, I'm not convinced that this live is working. You might be able to, if you can see me, say hello. But I think the screen's black and I don't know why. Getting someone to check for me now. 3 viewers now. If you can't see me, I apologise. Who knows what's going on with Facebook today? My trusty assistant's going to let me know if you can see me or not now. Maybe she isn't going to let me know. 4 viewers. Everyone can see me apparently. That's good. My screen is completely black, so I have no idea what I look like right now, other than I'm wearing a hat indoors, as mentioned. So, I'll tell you a story about promotional merch that really worked with me, really resonated with me. And then we'll go into some of the questions that have already been submitted. And if you've got any questions about promotional merch for your business, how you can use it, don't hesitate to ask. I'll answer everything I can. And if I miss a question, I'll make sure we answer in the comments later on. All right, let's do this. Okay, so I was lucky enough to go to Canada a couple of years ago. Went to Vancouver Island to a place called Tofino, and there was a restaurant there called Wolf in the Fog. And it was a really, really nice restaurant. The food's really nice. Sort of place you could either go for a drink or a meal. Everyone was very welcome. Really kind of eclectic mix of people. Really interesting. And as I was sat having a drink there with my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, I noticed that there was a cabinet at the back of the restaurant, and in it they had T-shirts and caps and key rings, various bits and bobs. And so I said to the bar person, "What's all that?" "Oh, that's our merch." And obviously, I've been to plenty of restaurants, as you might be able to tell, and never really seen a restaurant that had its own merch. I thought, "Oh, how's that?" And sure enough, once I sat there for the next couple of hours, about 30 people bought some of this merch. And it sort of just twigged with me. I just realised all those people now are walking adverts for that restaurant. You know, Tofino's not the biggest place in the world, but this merch not only represented the restaurant and looked like the restaurant, it looked really good as well. It was sort of stuff you would actually want to be seen wearing. And I've since, spoken to restaurants in this country and encouraged them to have their own merch, and not necessarily to sell, some just to give away, some to give to people who've perhaps done a food challenge in the restaurant, or maybe it's their 10th meal in the restaurant, that kind of thing. But if you think of it as merch, as your moving advert for your business, and that might be a mouse mat, that might be a baseball cap, that might be a mug. It's something that keeps you front of mind, not only to the prospects, but to the people who might be visiting those prospects too. I think that was a good explanation. So, I was reading Inc.com the other day, and I don't know if this is true or not, but they seem pretty sure. If you give out promotional merchandise as a business, your chances of getting new customers increase by 83%. That's absolutely outrageous. If everybody knew that, you'd all be doing merch. So I like that one. Little tidbit for you. Also, if somebody receives branded merchandise from you prior to buying from you, you increase the chance of selling to them by 62%. Another good little tip. So just think about the things that you could do as your business. Often you can manufacture your own merch, and that's also a really cool way to kind of show what you can do. And then another little story for you. We work with an accountancy practice, and they won't mind me mentioning them by name. They're called Chadstone. They're based in Shropshire. And before we started working with them, so it wasn't our idea, I can't take credit for this, but it was the reason I knew I wanted to work with them. They said, we want to launch our own beer. I was, why? Commercially? You're an accountancy firm. No, not commercially. We want to launch our own beer. One, because we really like beer, and they do like beer. And two, because it would be an awesome way of promoting their brand. I mean, their tagline is a fresh perspective, so they don't do things how traditional accountants do things, and they wanted to showcase that. Now, how many accountants have you met that have their own beer? Well, they do, and it's all branded up. You can get it in cans at the moment, soon to be able to get it in bottles. And the buzz that created was absolutely amazing. And, it didn't cost them much. Per can or per bottle is not a significant amount of money. And if you think how many clients and how much interest that's acquired, what an investment. Awesome. So, yeah, they're my stories. Let's hop into some questions and see what people have been asking. All right. So, Sophia Williams has asked, why is it important to have promotional merchandise in my business? I need more convincing before I bulk buy branded pens for my team and my clients. Oof, okay. Right, Sophia. So, hopefully my two stories kind of outlined why it's important to have promotional merchandise for your business. But think of it as an advert for your business that's always in front of your clients. So that might be clothing, could be, mouse mats, coasters, that kind of thing. Could be mugs, could be pens, could be calendars. But you can go crazy with this. Like somebody sent me some guitar picks promotional merchandise, and they weren't a band or a music festival. Oh, that's cool. That's a bit different because one, they've identified that I play the guitar. I know 2 chords. Especially don't tell my wife. She bought me the guitar 3 months ago. I'm not progressing as well as I should. But yeah, those guitar picks, one awesome little bit of merch, and I'll never forget that. And I've seen some other great examples too. Stress balls. I think we were going to use stress balls for an event that we were sponsoring this year. Unfortunately, that event got cancelled. But yeah, there's a lot you can do. And Sophia, in terms of needing to be convinced before you bulk buy branded pens, are pens the right piece of promotional merchandise for your business? And that might not be the case. So if you're a solicitor, and chances are all the other solicitors are giving out pens, what can you do that's different? What can you do that stands out? What can you do that people keep? Now, I know I've got a drawer full of pens down here. There's a promotional pen. I've got another couple of promotional pens. Ask me how many times I go in that drawer. So just think about what you can do that's a bit different. We have pens, don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with pens. It does keep, but we also have coasters, we have mugs, we'll have t-shirts, we'll have hoodies, we'll soon have hats. So you kind of got to think, how do you keep yourself in front of people? And that's what would justify it to you. If you think, right, I'm going to buy this merchandise, and if I don't get 200% more sales next month, it's been a failure, you're going down the wrong avenue. That's not how it works. It's a much more drip type thing. It's more about creating those relationships, having those walk-in adverts. That's what it's about. Nice one, Sophia. All right, cheers.
Hi, Joel and Andy here. Thanks for listening to our podcast. We're loving sharing our marketing tips with you.
If you'd like to kickstart your marketing, why not jump on a discovery call? Simply visit codebreak.co.uk and apply there. Hopefully speak to you soon.
Take care.
So, who's next? Question from Tom Ashley. Hi, Tom. Okay. How can you do promo merchandise differently? Our business wants to look past basic branded pens, funny enough, mugs and rulers. All right, Tom, we do mugs and pens. We want to do it differently. I've seen everything from guitar picks, like I mentioned before, paper aeroplanes that come kind of ready marked to show you where to crease. I've seen some people do quite expensive merch, like headphones and that kind of thing. I've seen loads. I've seen people do kind of personalised stuff where everybody gets their own thing. So I know I took part in a martial arts competition a few years ago, and everybody that volunteered to do kind of the running of the event around the outside. So not the people who are paid, like the referees or the people on the mat, but the people who are just volunteering to make sure the crowd's okay, make sure that there's drinks, all that kind of thing. Each of those got a personalised engraved whiskey tumbler. So there's all sorts of things you can do, and loads beyond what you'd be expected to do. Anything could be merch. So if you've got an idea of something you'd like to do, I'd advise speak to an agency like us, speak to a promotional merchandise provider, and talk to them about what you're trying to achieve, who your target audience is, what all your competitors do, and then why you need to do it differently, and you'll find something, definitely. Nice one. Okay, next question. Richard S. I have made rookie mistakes. Oh, I've got a friend called Richard S. I wonder if it's the same guy. I have made rookie mistakes resulting in disasters in the past with designs on test promo items concerning the size and colouring on them. I'm sure I'm not the only one. How should I be formatting my artwork for print? Woof. Depends what you're printing on, Richard. Depends on the type of print. Depends on the supplier you're working with. Any supplier worth their salt should be able to give you what they need. So they'll tell you the format they need it in. They'll tell you the type of artwork they need. They'll tell you the colour format. And if there's any problems, they should really be able to provide you a proof as well, unless you're kind of in the lower end of the market, and then what you'll find is you probably have to digitally approve the proof yourself, and if you do and it comes back wrong, that's on you. What I would advise, particularly if you're doing something complicated or you're doing something a bit different or something you're uncomfortable with, get a professional to do it. Either approach a merchandising company directly or speak to a marketing agency or a design agency and ask them to do it, and then if it goes wrong, it's their fault and you're covered. Chances are, if they're anything like us, they can source you that stuff at a very similar price to what you were going to pay anyway, and you're kind of insured. So that would be what I would suggest. All right, nice one, Richard. Cheers. Jacob, in your opinion, which promo items go down well and how can they be used? Really varied, Jacob. Completely depends on your industry. So something I think goes down really well at the moment is mugs. Everyone loves a mug. And if you can get a few mugs into a business, so rather than just thinking, I'll give a mug to the MD or I'll give a mug to the financial director, if you can give a mug to everybody in that business, it probably cost you maybe £1 a mug, and you give all 50 staff a mug, quite a few of those mugs are going to survive that process and be that advert for you. Again, pens, I know I mentioned about a lot being in my drawer, but they didn't end up in the drawer until a little while later. They're generally a good one to keep in front of people. Things I've seen that work really well, coasters and mouse mats, obviously they're on people's desks, everyone always needs those. And something that probably people haven't thought of that would be a really good one at the moment is if you can stretch to it, if you can do the little soap dispenser stations and put those in kind of your prospects' offices, they're not going to chuck those away. Hand gel at the moment comes at a premium, so if you can do that and brand that up, you'll definitely get yourself in front of people. I've seen some crazy merch. I've seen toilet rolls, so it's a way of getting in front of people. I saw a toilet roll company take over the public toilets of an entire city and then merch it all up so that you kind of associated that enhanced experience of going to the toilet with their company. So there's so much you could be doing out there. One that I think is really cool, kind of like the sew-on patches. If you're kind of like a clothing company or skateboard company, or you've got a product that's a bit out there, those kind of stitch-on patches, they go down really well. You find people stitching onto their bags, onto their clothes, that kind of thing. Just anything you can think of. It really depends on your industry. It really depends on what you're trying to achieve. But anything where people feel like they're getting something for nothing and it's got a little bit of value, a little bit of either class or coolness about it, you'll be onto a winner. All right. So, who's next? Shannon, we've recently started creating branded merch for our business, but could you share a couple of things that you could implement to get your brand to make an impact? That might be something really simple, like giving clients a mug when they come in for a meeting. Yeah, so that's a good one, Shannon. Actually, you can use merch tactically, and not many businesses are doing this. So if you go to a conference or you go to an expo, you come away with a bag full of merch, and chances are by the time you see it again, it's been thrown away by your significant other. That happens a lot in our house. I'm sure that happens to other people too. But in terms of customer experience and what they go through, what do you send people after they've made an inquiry? What do you send people when they become a customer? What do you give people when they come to visit you for their first meeting? Do you give them something to keep? What do you do when a customer reaches a milestone? All these things that can create a lot of impact and can be handled with promo merch. So that's one side of thing. And then the other side of it is, what do you have that's really cool? What do you do that other companies don't do that gives your staff buy-in and also makes people wish they had one? So if your merch is so good that other people want it, not only are they a walking advert for you, but they're kind of like an advocate of your brand as well. So that's where you really want to get with it. If you can get to those levels, Shannon, you'll be onto a winner. Okay. Right. Next one, Phil Thomas. Hi Phil, thanks for the question. How should I go about plugging or advertising the merchandise I have on offer in my business? We've been giving away small pieces of clients for some time now, but we want to scale up. Okay. So this goes back to the restaurant story I told before. If your merch is so cool that people want to buy it, you've got two questions you should ask yourself there first. One, do you want to sell merch? Are you going to be able to sell enough of it to make it a viable business? Or are you in such a great position there that you can use it as a giveaway so you can sell more of what you do? And I think that's the balance in that. So the restaurant I was talking about sold the merch because it was kind of an add-on to what they did. They were in a small town, you know, on the far side of an island in British Columbia, and it was a nice little add-on for their cool restaurant. Where if you're kind of, you know, a solicitor in Birmingham, I don't think people are going to come in for a legal meeting and then offer to buy a cap off you or a hoodie. That's not going to happen. So what could you do to make that process better? I mean, obviously, if you're a criminal solicitor, you probably shouldn't be giving gifts back and forth. But in terms of what could you do? Do they get a free mug? Do they get a free pen? What happens when they get sent their documents in the post? What could you do that will make you memorable? So maybe you have your own brand of coffee when they come in for a meeting, and it's actually, you know, your own blend. Imagine that if someone comes and goes, would you like a special blend of our coffee? What do you mean your coffee? Oh, we've got our own coffee. It's something we do so that clients can have a really nice drink when they come in. Wow, that's amazing. Or, you know, maybe like Chadstone, like I talked about before, you have a beer fridge in your meeting room, and in the beer fridge is your own beer. So what is it that you can do to generate that level of impact? I would probably, unless you're a restaurant or the kind of business where merch and kind of your brand all molds into one, so suddenly it's not just kind of promotional merch, it's merch in general, I would stray away from selling it. I think selling it takes away the power of it, where if you can, someone says to you, I'd love to have one of your hats, and you know, 6 months down the line when they're working with you, you rock up and present them with 5 or 6 hats for them and their team. Imagine the impact that has versus making them buy them when they first said, I'd love to have one of your hats. That's the difference. So I think that's, reverting back to a question, Phil, to scale up how you use your merch is more to do with how you reward people with it, how you use it to position yourself in the right place, how you use it. Think about who you're giving it to and why you're giving it to them, and go from there. If you're the sort of business, and I don't know because you haven't said, where maybe you're a small restaurant and actually merch is part and parcel of the experience and people will buy it and it's a cool upsell, go for it. That's a good way to scale up too. All right, nice one. So that's all the questions we've had submitted so far. If you have got any questions, don't hesitate. I'll be here for a couple more minutes. But yeah, promo merch, an awesome way to keep your business in front of prospects year round. An awesome way for prospects and customers to be adverts and advocates for your business, and also a great way to position your business. If you've got high quality merch that looks bloody cool, that'll make a massive difference. And like I said before, what was it, 83% of businesses that give out merch see more sales? I think, was that the stat? Yeah, you increase your chances of getting new customers by 83%, so that goes without saying. And I think people who receive branded merch from a business before a sale are 62% more likely to buy from them again. I really do think merch should be part of your overall marketing strategy, and if it's not, speak to your marketing agency, book a discovery call with us. We'd love to talk to you about the opportunities with that kind of thing. Andy will be with you next week for a live Q&A, and we'll catch you again. All right, take care, everyone. Bye now. Stay safe.